Next is called the conceder. We see this one a lot. I can be in Boston. I can go up to the top of the John Hancock Tower, which is like 50-something stories high, and I can get some binoculars out, and I can look all the way to Vegas, and I can spot the conceders all the way from there. Because this is the telltale sign that you're a conceder. You consistently take overpriced listings or put people in your car that aren't qualified. That's a conceder. Why does a conceder do that? What do you think? Why are they going to do that? Or why do they do that?
People pleasing.
Could be people pleasing, right? Keep going. To look busy, very good. Keep going.
Avoid confrontation.
Avoid confrontation. And in our case, it's not even confrontation. It's just avoiding asking the proper questions, right? Just avoid asking the proper questions. And we see this quite a bit. It happens over and over and over again. This says here, it says fear of intruding on others and gives in easily. But it really boils down to not willing to ask questions. And you know, Dave mentioned that Lori just is very curious and she asks a lot of questions. Are you offended if somebody were to say to you, could you explain that to me a little bit more? Or if you were to say to a buyer, a seller, what's more important to you, the move or the money? I mean, that's a pretty easy question, isn't it? We just have to be willing to ask the questions. The next is called social class apprehension. And that's those of us who say, well, you know, I can't do business in that neighborhood because those people are different than me. You know, the highest price listing I've ever taken is $400,000, and those houses are $800,000. So I don't think I could do that. What we're really saying is I'm either afraid to do that, or I don't deserve to do that. Right? I don't deserve to do that. We want to change that. And then the next is friend contrary and family adverse. Those of us who say, I never mix business with pleasure, so I'm not going to do business with my friends and family. And then referral aversion. That's those of us who avoid asking current and past clients for referrals. Now, according to NAR, 50% of a realtor's income on average comes from repeat business from their past clients and from referrals. What percentage of an agent's time on average goes into lead generating to past clients? Again, around 10%, if that. For a lot of people, it's 0%. And most people say, well, I don't call my past clients because maybe something went wrong and I don't want to hear about it. And I'll tell you, if that's what you're thinking, this is what I would advise you to do in the situation. If you haven't gotten a letter from the board or from a lawyer saying you did something wrong, you should assume everything went pretty well. Okay? Or, it's been so long since I've spoken to them, I won't know what to say. Or, I don't know if I have anything valuable to tell them. Or, I don't want to give them negative news. Listen, those are all mirages. They want to hear from you. And if you don't call them, guess what? Somebody else will. And that'll be the day that you drive by their house and see somebody else's sign up there, and you're going to say, why didn't they call me? And I'm going to tell you why they didn't call you. Because it's not their job to call you. That's why. It's their job. It's your job to call them. And then there's the big one. Ever watch Sanford & Son when you were younger? And Fred would say, I'm having the big one. This is the big one. It's called telephone terror. And that's those of us who fear using the phone and show physical signs of distress when using the phone for lead generation or promotional purposes. Literally, we go to reach for the phone, and that phone looks like a fire-breathing dragon that's going to eat us alive. When I show you my assessment in a moment, you're going to see I score the highest on telephone terror. Wow. And here's where it primarily comes from. Now, Dave mentioned his very intimate moment with his grandmother, right? For most of us, it wasn't that stark, right? For most of us, it was, we were on the phone when we were younger, and somebody that we either loved or feared or both was in the background screaming, get off the phone! Get off the phone! Are you on the phone again? Who are you talking to? It's my turn. Why don't you go out and play? I can't believe you're on the phone again. And we heard that over and over and over and over and over. And every time we go to reach for the phone to this day, we hear, get off the phone. And until and unless we address that issue, you can have all the coaching you want. You can go to every seminar in the world. You can have the formula for turning water into gold. And it won't matter. This is by far the number one thing that we see in our assessments. And then the next is coach contrary. That's people who reject coaching. And the reason why that's a sign of reluctance is because they don't want other people to see what they're not doing. So they avoid accountability and coaching and mentoring. Top producers score the lowest in these categories. In other words, they're not coach contrary, they're willing to be coached. They're not disparagers because they don't worry about making lead generation calls. And they don't worry because they practice. They are not afraid to ask for referrals. They do it all the time. And now this is interesting, they all do tests with a moderate amount of telephone terror, but not a severe amount. But they're able to manage it to the point where they're willing to make their lead generation calls. And after they make enough calls, then that even dissipates even further.